Hey Deckers, we've been getting some updates for Ghost of Tsushima, and also there have been lots of reports about being able to enable frame generation now with a bit of a tweak. Now I'm going to show you how to do that, but also show you why you probably don't really want to, as it's still not working as well as you would hope on the Steam Deck, and I think it's quite a bit of a placebo effect, as you'll see when we do some of the comparisons here. So I'm going to be sticking with my recommended settings, but I am going to show you exactly the same settings with frame generation on and off, and do a little bit of a side by side as well where I can. So you can see you need to go into the properties of your game, and under the general section set the launch options to Steam Deck with a capital S and D, very important, equals 0 space %command %. So as mentioned, that is case sensitive, so do keep an eye on that if you don't see the frame gen option get enabled when you start up the game. Now, sticking with my recommended settings of kind of the low to medium with texture quality on high, running XeSS on balanced, you should now have the option to turn on frame generation at the bottom. Now, an important note, the first time I did this, frame generation didn't work at all, or just caused major lag, but after restarting the game again and setting that on, it did seem to perform a lot better. However, I do still feel the game runs better overall with frame generation off. So as you can see in a very quick side-by-side comparison, moving stuff around, because we do still get some of those big dips, frame generation just seems to bring in a lot more stutter and a little bit of input latency, not as noticeable as it has been in the past, but I do just find that overall the image does seem a lot clearer without frame generation on. So if I flip back to it on in this same section running around the survivor camp, you'll see that even though it's reporting double, nearly triple the FPS in some of those circumstances, it does look and feel a little bit more jittery, and we really see some weird anti-aliasing effects if you look at the trees as we're moving around as well. So although it's reporting a higher frame rate, it definitely isn't the case, and when we put them side by side, you see that stutter a bit more. Now, unfortunately, I don't know what happened here. I've not seen this happen in other sections of the game, but with frame generation on, it also seems to get my game stuck in the cinematic mode, so it doesn't really help on this comparison here of seeing side by side with frame generation on and off in the middle of a battle. So you'll have to stick with some of the out and about of the world, I'm afraid. So again, frame generation off, look how smooth it is. Although it's sitting around 40 frames per second, it looks very nice. But as soon as I turn that frame generation off, again, it's reporting 60 plus frames per second, but look how much more stuttery the images and how much more jagged stuff is around the characters, especially around the cloak off the back of the person in front here. Really obvious how bad that anti-aliasing is, and then when we come back off, just how much smoother everything looks around, and also how much cleaner that cloak looks. Same, especially around fire, it gets really bad. Again, with frame generation on, you can see those anti-aliasing effects and that flame really flickering in that fire, and around the mask and the straw hat looks really jagged. But if we turn that frame generation off again, just look how much smoother everything looks, and this is why I still recommend that we run this without frame generation. So nice to be able to turn it on, but it still doesn't work the way that it should on Linux, although it does work a lot better on Windows on deck and generally on the handhelds. It's still not quite there as far as quality goes for me. Let us know in the comments below if you're going to be diving in with frame generation on or off and keeping our settings, or if you have some other recommendations, feel free to put them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.
Ryuzo should be in the cemetery.